All right. We do a quick back testing session. Today's Sunday, so I kind of just want to get back into the swing of things. If I'm being honest, pick up where I left off on this. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna pick up where we left off on the last back testing session where we hit 14R through 3 days. It was really good. Um, yeah. So what are we on? Tuesday right now. So at this point, I would just go to Tuesday market open. It's already 10:30. I mean, we could see if there's anything here, but we started the daily. No, we're opening up a new day here. So is any higher time frame buys? See, gold's taking out this high. Silver also taking out this high, so no SMT there. Uh, yeah, when a new day opens up, which is at 1800, like I always like to see if a new day like opens up above the previous day's high, and then one asset doesn't. Like that's automatically an SMT that's high probable. Like if you can start with a daily SMT and fractalize it down to the 4 hour, like you can usually get a pretty good trade out of that. If it holds and stuff. But um, right now, taking out lows, it's more just like a consolidation. Like even if this was SMT here, look, you're like coming back down to the 50% range of this candle, and then on gold and silver here, so gold's at all-time highs right now, which is definitely reasonable to note. And yeah, silver also kind of at all-time highs, and they're both taking out yesterday's high right now. So no SMT, but gold's kind of breaking this SMT right now. So if we were to expect a new phase in price, it could be right now, because like you gold take this out and then just fail to manipulate it. Or sorry, silver take this out and fail to manipulate it. And now gold kind of comes up, takes out that high, but it's printing a bearish candle. Let's see how it prints. As it's taking out the high, and silver prints also a bearish candle, so potentially on the 1 hour actually. It sweeps it here, 2200, 2200, bearish. Forms a PSP, an hour PSP, but there's no higher time frame confluence. Really? Let's see, saw expansion away here. SMT in the gap. But you'd want to see 50% of this candle respected, and it doesn't get respected here. So the trade, I mean, a short there would be invalid in my opinion. But you kind of see silver expand away right here, and then you SMT with this midnight to 1 o'clock right there, if you see that. I'd say it's a low probable trade, but yeah, I'm just gonna get on with the day. We'll get to the next day. You can see it does come out and take these internal lows, so I think potentially there could have been a trade there, right? But overall, like that's a lower probable trade in my opinion. So the silver top into this gap, no. So we're coming into 8 o'clock right now, or this should be 8. Okay. This is usually about when I get on the charts. I get on like 8:30. Right now, it's like this is the whole 8 o'clock candle. So we'll just say this is when we got on. Am I gonna trade the oils right now? Let's start with the dailies here. No daily SMTs or anything like that. You can see here on CL and RB these draws on liquidity that we're pulling towards. HO definitely the strongest asset here, but you can see. I guess we marked out a weekly SMT there. Yeah, look at that. You know, some things you don't even realize. Yeah, kind of a weekly SMT playing from external to external, really. That's the draw that low, so you kind of can assume it's going there at this point. HO is the strongest asset, and then you have CO also going to these lows. So I'd say RB you'd expect to be the first one to hit this. Um, Kind of this gap here, this 5M gap that we retrace into. So CL does the same thing. Yeah, really no SMT there. But like, you can see we see ISD here. We're probably gonna go take that out, but I don't nothing to really get on side there with. Um, so we kind of sweep out the daily low with this candle. Technically here, because of the way this one opens up, you technically have SMT with the daily open, actually. But how valid do you think that is? Like, it's not really a relevant level at all. It's just daily open. But like, it's worth noting that you have that because you kind of get this expansion away. That's at 3 a.m. You kind of get that expansion away, so like you can see that SMT definitely held. I guess respecting this gap right here on the hourly time frame. Oh, could you say like maybe that silver might be going to this high now? Because gold definitely takes out this high easily. That's the 2200 candle, and gold's been above that and kind of failed to manipulate, in my opinion. V-shaping way right now, but if you look on the 4 hour chart, like it's the 2200 candle, so we're below that here, and that's what the SMT is. What are we actually forming at this high? On the 4 hour, you kind of form this two-stage SMT. So we're being the weaker asset here. Um, you can see whenever it resweeps this high right here, yo, you have something here. Because you form this two-stage at these highs, um, which could confirm like this SMT holding at the highs, and this was gold's the stronger asset on the higher time frame. So As silver resweeps this high, it expands away. If you go to here, you go to 30. Not really what you want to see. But as soon as you sweep this high, like where could your entrance be to this candle? Like it's as soon as you sweep this. Like you sweep it, you form this, kind of reversal kind of. You could get in here or potentially, I think it would be more value would be right here. Stops on your body because you get that retracement and then that CSD below. At this point, you're taking out these lows, kind of waking back up, which isn't a good sign for shorts. But you do have this two stage. Um, and you can see here, silver like wants to come maybe break this SMT. This candle isn't a good sign, but I think this would be something this could be a pretty valid trade, honestly. Four-hour two stage at all-time highs. The logic behind it is you form this SMT here, right? And then you have this SMT that held, but silver could want to break. It wants to take out this low. Or this low, technically. That's where you could take profit, but yeah, I think I would take this. And the reason like I was sketch about this is because obviously like as I'm getting in, you see this form, but like the reason I took it anyways is because um like where I would enter the candle would be right here. Like I wouldn't be able to see these two candles, so I didn't want to be biased just based off of that. So we'll write that down as no. But 4-hour two stage, what was that loss? So, Mr. Ward. Um, yeah, and I don't know, that was kind of stupid. When you go to the 30-minute, these are just things that you can't really ignore. You have to require, but forming this hourly C2, or give this 30-minute C2. I'm gonna go back a couple candles just to show where we were at. Like, what do you form here? This hourly C2. So, this is a reversal candle. So, you'd want to wait. Okay, I figured it out. So, you're either getting in on this reversal where you get in on this candle, like this closure right here. Like when this candle closes below this low, creating this CISD. After taking out this high, creating a reversal. At this point, you have an hourly C2 being formed and a 4-hour. So you're kind of catching the reversal and assuming that the candle is going to close. This would be your trade. You'd go 50% this wick, so you would stay in the trade. Your risk to reward is not as good here. I don't think. It's this low. No, it's still 5.5. So that would be the trade. And then here, you get this retracement, and then your stop would be here on this body. So you're kind of cutting your losses in half. So more realistically, that would be like a half loss. But how to avoid this, like this trade right here, because that one, you could at least cut your losses in half. And then when you see this candle form, that's up to you. That's discretion, but no, you'd be, I mean, that'd be emotional trading if you were to just go break even as soon as you see the green candle. So realistically, you're taking a half loss. It's fine. That's fine. But the reason this wasn't valid here, which immediately I should just, the trade's invalidated, so why force it, right? If you come to this 30-minute candle, you want to see the 50% of this candle respected, and this candle comes up and just disrespects that 50% level. And like that's not at all what you want to see. And then on the 4 hour, like you have 10 o'clock now only an hour away, you know it's gonna be a reversal candle. But if you're not getting in at the point of reversal, your chance of getting stopped out are much higher. It's pretty much on what I'm trying to say. So would be a loss, but the way you manage that loss is important, I think. But all right, let's get rid of these. Let's go to 9:30. Oh wait, we haven't even checked out the indices yet. Even though I usually like to wait for 9:30 on them. YM taking out this low, also NQ taking out this low, so no SMT there. I prefer for all my trades to start on the 4 hour, by the way. That's why like if I don't see a 4 hour SMT or just a 4 hour confluence, really, like then I don't really trade. And that's just how I like to do it. And that's like this started up with a 4 hour two stage. It's not with a relevant level, but you're at all-time highs, so that can be like that two-stage forming at the high can be set for retracement. Like you're retracing these gaps, but that's definitely like a lower probable trade. I feel like I knew that off the bat, but whatever. Now you can anticipate for silver to go break this SMT, I would assume. And on NQ and YM, you form this like reversal candle to the upside, but no clear like SMT or like, really reason to be able to trade this. So what you could do if you want to get in on this action is maybe so when you're hitting these levels, right? When you're hitting this level from 2 to 3, you create an hourly SMT. 2 to 3, you create hourly SMT, and then you create hourly gaps away. Gaps, gaps. So you can assume 30-minute gaps away. You have this 5 o'clock gap right here that gets filled at 6:30. On NQ, you have a 5 o'clock gap that also gets filled. Could say it's 6:30 PSP on the fill that. Right, you form PSP here. Is that enough for us to take a trade? Definitely not. Definitely not. But you're filling in this gap with a bullish candle. As soon as that candle closes, what time is that at? 6:30. As soon as that candle closes, you get this CISD for long. But this isn't a trade you'd even take. I'm just kind of BSing right now. And I'll tell you why. Like you can't really take this. Your only confluence here is this out. Like if this was formed, like let's say we had SMT like this, right? This candle doesn't come down and sweep that. And this candle does. This candle forms like that. And you can obviously see this. You still get this expansion away though on YM. When you form this, like all you need at that point is your trading continuations. Like you only require a one-stage SMT or even a PSP if they both trade into the gap, like if and it forms a 30-minute PSP. That's all you really require to trade continuations. So potentially, like you could trade this, but it being an hourly SMT into a 30-minute PSP, forming it in a continuation way, that kind of scares me. I don't know. Like that, I don't think that's valid to me. Like I don't know. I think you're just forcing at that point, and there's no point to force, bro. Just wait for your confluence, man. No point to force. God, this still looks clean to me. Still, this two stage looks so clean to me, but like this candle just disrespects it. So let's play the next 30 because we know this one comes up. Hmm, look at that gold. So we actually see the metals kind of decouple, which is we don't see that very often. Gold's respecting that two stage, but silver completely disrespects it. And when you have one asset, I've noticed this, like when one asset is like when you're trading a continuation or like you're just trading a C3, you want to see that C3 like you form your C2 candle like this. You want to see that 50% of that wick respected if you're going bullish. So you want to see that C3 form, hit a 15-minute gap like in here or something, and then form away in this range of the equilibrium if you want to trade shorts. And then you want to see it trade away. Right? So you want it to form like what would that candle look like? It would look like this. It would wick up. Oh, I need my brush. It would wick up here, and then the body would form like that. So that's what you want to see, and you don't want to see this line really hit. Now, obviously, there's exceptions. Like if it goes right here, like all right, like let's be honest, it's still valid. But you can see on this candle, like just the way it closes, the way it forms, is not. I guess it's closing above this equilibrium. So at this point, like you're definitely not, and it's closing above this candle closure too. So you don't, yeah, you got no expansion way. You got no business trading that, and that if it's not valid on silver, then you're not going to trade the correlated asset. And so like gold here, obviously it's respecting this two-stage SMT and expanding away, but you have silver. What I'm trying to say is like disrespecting that 50% equilibrium, and that just makes the trade a whole lot lower probable. This is just something I've noticed from doing this. Not saying like you can't trade it, but I think it's lower probability. Like you want to see both assets respecting. All right, got to 10 a.m. Okay, so we have YM kind of take out this high. This is yesterday's high. Spaced out high. NQ nowhere even close. What do we form? 4-hour C2. I like what we're seeing here a lot. This is a one stage, but we'll go to the lower time frame. We'll see if anything has been formed. this is a valid point to kind of reverse price from. And it's funny because you form these C2s, like you form these reversal candles, but you don't like, there's really no way to trade them in my opinion. Like, there's really no way to trade these, but it does end up going and taking out this internal high, which actually would have been like a banger of a trade, that PSP I was showing you guys. But like there's no way to logically get in that trade. So you don't like there's no reason to break your rules, man. Wait, wait for your setup. You will be a much better trader. Wait for your 4 hour your higher time frame confirmation. And like this is for my 4 hour. This is also going to be a daily SMT. And so you see this wick. We're going to see how this 4 hour candle forms. I actually really like this. On the closure, so you're going to see it should be a 15-minute V shape. Yep. There's no two stage though. Right now it's just forming an SMT. So how do we know this SMT is going to hold? We don't. We don't. I think it's likely because if an SMT is not going to hold, like when you kind of know it's not going to hold, like NQ wouldn't be this far away from the high. It'd be like here. Like that's when the SMT forms. It's like, all right, that's more of just like a failure swing to this high. So now you kind of can assume that NQ is also going to go up and take that high. But in this case, they're pretty spaced out here. Like this, you could potentially see like trading away. And before I play this out and just see, so now we're looking like you have a valid C2 that printed. You need to see the, because we're looking for shorts, the candle closes right here. This is where it closes. So in this case, you're looking to see this 50% of the wick, not the whole body, respected. Because if you want to see the 50% of the whole body on a bullish close when you're looking for shorts, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you see what I'm saying? That's where the candle opens up. So automatically with disrespect. So for in shorts, for a bearish candle, like you need to see the whole candle respected 50%. When a candle closes bullish, you need to see the 50% of the wick respected. Let's see how silver and gold close. So silver does go up and take out the high, which we kind of could anticipate at that point. And it breaks this SMT, and as we're breaking the SMT, we're forming a PSP at that high, like at this level, right? So we're taking out the 2200 candle, which gold had been trading above. Like there's no SMT there, and you actually form this two-stage SMT. So this two-stage SMT, like right here, like I'm looking at the strength switch SMT between this 2 o'clock handle and the 6 o'clock handle. And what do we have? NQ and YM forming bearish SMTs being set up for shorts. So right now we have our metals and our indices pretty tightly aligned for shorts. Like they both have a good short bias right now. Um, and I like the way this 4 hour closes, taking out this high, forming this PSP. So this two-stage SMT, it's valid, bro. Like it is. But we're not looking at the two-stage. We're more looking at the strength switch between these two candles, between the 2 o'clock and the 6 o'clock, because now we're forming an SMT confirmed by PSP. And you already have the expansion away on gold. But you have to wait for that PSP to form. So now you can break it down to the hourly, right? So you want to see this candle's closing bearish. You want to see the 50% of this candle respected. So you want to see it right here respected. So now we have to go find our find key level, which can be this fair value gap. So that's our refined key level within the 50% of the equilibrium. So if it can come up here, take out this high, and trade away. Whereas silver, creating its 4 hour, we need to see the 50% of this wick. Not that it's a big wick. We just want to see that respected, right? Do we have a refined key level? Not really, because of the way it expanded away. Like I wouldn't say it's a really a refined key level. You kind of just want to see expansion away here on silver, if we're being honest. And as it hits, so now you're kind of like you wouldn't get in here because first of all your CISD is down here, but you also want to wait. You just want to wait for that next 4 hour candle to open at this point. Like price might just stall around. So I think both are valid trades, but you're waiting for silver right now to do this, to kind of close below this and create that 4 hour candle wick. So we'll play price. Oh no. NQ closed bullish, but what do we see? This short idea is already invalid. And that's how quick it has to be, guys. Like that's how quick it has to be. And if it trades away from there, like NQ, all right, you could maybe get behind a trade, but like here you want to see why I respect this wick. Let's play another 5 minute candle here. See what gold did. So gold's trading away. And silver kind of stalling. So assets aren't really CSDing here. You've NQ kind of like disrespect this equilibrium. Not by a lot. And then you have YM coming up to this wick. Remember the 50% of this wick. To this point, like you're kind of creating the wick of that 4 hour candle. If you go kind of creating the wick of this 4 hour candle, but you'd have to expand away from here. Like it's still a small wick. That's why you do the equilibrium thing. Because if it comes past that, then the wick's going to be too big. The candle's not set for expansion. But at this point, like you can still get in this trade if you see why I'm kind of trade away or expand here. I am tapping in. Nah, we're CISDing above this high. So right now, I wouldn't take a trade on the indices and silver. It's kind of cooking it right now. I was gonna say like potentially, what could we form? Another two-stage SMT confirmed by that PSP as well, but where would gold have to? Gold would have to get all the way up to here. So at this point, man, I don't want to see SMT with this candle, with this 9 o'clock candle. Here we go. Get some expansion away on silver. But we kind of just consolidate. Like we don't V-shape away. So I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not really liking this. And we have an hourly gap here. We come down, we tap into it. Silver trades up. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't like anything. Is there any reason to even go bullish here? Like, I don't think so. Yeah, no really higher time frame SMT here on the indices. Or sorry, the metals, the indices also trade away. NQ, I guess looking to break this SMT. But there was never like a bullish SMT here. So maybe if YM, like we could form a higher time frame two stage right here if YM can kind of consolidate, right here, and then NQ comes out and takes out this high. But that's all I can think of for me. Still, I'm taking it out. Okay. It gets this high. So right now you're gonna see this, you have this two stage, right? I mean, technically it's down here, but you do form this two stage. YM does consolidate. This is at the opening of the 11 o'clock candle. So you're gonna go on the hourly. See how this hourly candle forms. Like that's how you want to see it form if you're gonna see expansion away. NQ breaks this SMT. I mean, yeah, we do this two stage, but I don't know, it just visually looks cleaner like this. Oh shit. Um, Visually to me it looks cleaner like this, but it is technically like the way I had it. Maybe on the 90-minute too. Not the 45, bro. Like what? On the 90-minute, this looks really clean, right? You're also currently forming a two-stage PSP, but like you can kind of see here on the 90-minute, it just looks cleaner, but it's the same idea. You're forming this two-stage. NQ is taking it out here. NQ was the weaker asset all day. You have these lower time frame, like you've gap here. On my end, you've gaps to fill. So as soon as this is formed, at 11 o'clock, like the 11 o'clock candle confirms this, closes like this. CISD here, you could potentially look for shorts. Let's see what the metals are doing. That's annoying. That's just annoying, honestly. Like the yeah, shorts do end up playing out down to here. I don't know if it'll continue, but we still have the short bias here. So I think if we CISD here, CISD here, like we see both assets expand away, I could get on board with this. And you don't. At this point, you wait for that 90-minute, and that 90-minute two stage is gone. You do CISD on NQ, but the way you're seeing like YM come up and disrespect this SMT is just like, damn, bro. So it does fill that hourly gap with the 10 o'clock bullish candle, 10 o'clock. Yo, you form a PSP in the continuation, man. I should have looked for that. But I mean, look at the way it's disrespecting this. Like at that point, like, you don't have that two stage anymore. You don't even have that PSP that we had that was valid. You remember that? Bullish to bullish, like that whole idea is disrespected. It comes in, but you also can anticipate this high to be swept, I guess, because with the closure and gold, you have this PSP, and it's respecting this hourly range. And in that range, you form bullish candle, bearish candle, and silver. At that point, that candle closes at 11. You see ISD here. I don't, yeah, that could have been valid. Stops on the body. That could have been valid, man. I don't know if I would take that just the way silver was looking. Like I don't know. I can't guarantee I would take that. You at least have that low. And that's probably all you'd get. I mean, that's probably all you'd want to take. But I guess it's a dub that we didn't even take it. It's a break even at best. Here it goes. And honestly, this price, you know what this shows me? This is just a weird day. Like that's what I'm taking away from this price. It's just a consolidating day. It's not an expansion day. Um, yeah, and that's, using our invalidations of trades. That's why we didn't lose money on this day. We lost, or we cut our losses. Like we cut our losses very well. There's a bunch of trades that, we saw, but we didn't execute on. I'm gonna end the stream there. I'll probably do more today, but yeah, we'll do some more back testing today. Took one loss on that day. But like you're gonna have days like that where the assets just don't want to expand. Can you cut losses on those days? Right? Like there we had all the reasons to go bearish, no reasons to go bullish. We go bullish. Can you stay out of those bearish trades? You know what I'm saying? Because the market isn't always going to respect your trades. You have to wait. It comes in waves, man. So hope you guys learned something. I'm gonna do more. Get back in the swing of things for tonight.